Hello and welcome to the series finale of MCTV's The Middle Seats, as it has been for almost 50 episodes. I'm Andrew Auger.
And I'm Jake Hensler.
The Middle Seats, the longest-running entertainment show in the history of Marist College television, will conclude with this final episode here on our last Thursday night.
On this special episode, we throw all of our familiar structure out the window, and you spent the better part of the 3 years watching Andrew and I discuss the news, review all the most popular and buzzy releases, and playing games and all sorts of fun stuff across the board.
What we've never really answered is this question. Why? Why do we love movies? Why is this something that we want to do with the rest of our lives?
And to help us answer these questions further, it might help to have us go back straight to the beginning.
Who knows more about our coming-of-age and everything movie better than those who guided our growth from children to young adults to college graduates? Our parents.
Our parents. In a pair of exit interviews, unlike anything you've ever seen, here's what the moms and dads of the middle seats think on films.
Should I go first?
I think
I can think when you were maybe 1.5 to 2 with the Jungle Book.
Easy. Jurassic Park.
And Elmo Saves Christmas. You wanted to watch the Jungle Book over and over and over again. You were fascinated by the elephant scene, the elephant stampede, and
stamp your feet.
You stamp your feet. So that was at home videos, but you loved the Jungle Book.
you always, even from, I mean, I guess it's movie related, you always loved anything animated or anything TV, anything. You just loved it. You always loved dinosaurs, and I guess when Jurassic Park came out, you liked the first one. I think, was it the second one that it was too scary for you and I had to take you out of the movie theater? The third one.
One of the first movies we saw in theater, I think, was, besides the Barney movie, was Tarzan. You loved Tarzan.
Kangaroo Jack. Kangaroo Jack, you used to look at Newsday for the stars to see what the movies were rated. And Kangaroo Jack, I think, got no stars. And after we took you to see it, and it was cute. But, you know, I
gave it like an 8.4.
No, no. But you were like, I can't believe this got no stars. It definitely should have gotten at least 1 or 1.5.
Then my favorite story to tell about you with the movies, this is not necessarily, you know, towards the movies, but just about being in the theater and everything, is when we went to see Chicken Run. You remember that, right? We walk into Chicken Run, and, you know, Andrew's wide-eyed, and we walk up, and there's a guy down below handing out posters as we come in. So we take a poster, sit down, and Andrew says, that's what I want. I want to be in the movies. And I said, you want to be in the movie? You like it so much? You want to be an actor? What do you want? He says, no, I want to be the guy down there handing out the poster.
No, movie-wise, I can't think of anything. I always remember you went through a whole big dinosaur phase, and then there was the Pokemon phase. Oh my God, that's not movie-related.
Yeah, you had some weird, like, TV phases that were really...
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan was pretty good. But we still have a bunch of these.
Nickelodeon things at home, or the Disney movies. I remember the Oliver movie, a lot of animation. I don't remember like live, maybe Inspector Gadget was one of your first like live regular movies. I think Inspector Gadget, Spy Kids, that kind of stuff.
But when you got a hold of one, we watched it over and over again. So there was no letting go.
You did love the movies. What I do remember is even, which I really found unusual for somebody your age, is you would really look in the movie section of Newsday and look at how many stars a movie got. And then if you didn't agree with it, you'd be like, I can't believe that only got whatever. I think it should have gotten more or less. You'd be like,
Doesn't matter. I said, oh my gosh, Buzz Lightyear's here. And you were like, no, Miss Karen, it's me, Andrew. It's not the real Buzz Lightyear. Like you really thought you were Buzz Lightyear. I love that story. That's a good one.
I don't even know the answer, but I know it was my fault. I know. That's the part was obviously, what was the one where they made fun of Narnia? Oh, that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake. I couldn't believe it was PG-13, man. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I'm like, this is, and it was like too late by the time we decided we should get out of here. It's as bad as it gets.
it's below because of Winn-Dixie.
Inappropriate stuff, I was strict with you I guess I'm different with Abby now, with PG-13 and even R. I remember like in one of your teenage angst getting mad at me about something and like that I would not let you see R movies. I mean, like if that's the worst thing I guess I did, then it's not so bad, but you didn't. But I did I did buy an R ticket, remember, for your friends a couple of times and got you into movies, but they weren't bad movies. Yeah.
You can see the progression, production values, the way you guys interacted. You know, you click good at the beginning, but like towards the end, you're like that. Right?
Yeah.
You're clicking all the time. You
have good chemistry.
I say that you guys have gotten really comfortable on the show, and it's a lot of fun to watch. It was fun to watch for different reasons when you guys were younger. It was more like fascinating and, awesome, to see you guys. You guys were really pretty good right out of the gate. I thought I was blown away when I first started watching. But now it's almost like a lot of the time I feel like, we're flying the wall in some private conversations between you two guys.
We're blown away. I mean, I'm blown away. When you and Jake first had your first episode, I was so excited, but you're like these little kids. And then I couldn't believe, first of all, how well you guys spoke. And like, you guys see a movie differently than we go. I go to be entertained, but you guys pick it apart and see things that I don't see. What I really love now that you guys are doing more about producing the whole show are your cold opens. They're kind of quirky and corny. I'm blown away.
I think for me it's been great watching the two of you over the past 4 years, how you've grown and matured and, like Dad said, become really just finding your niche, your whatever, and getting comfortable behind the camera and really finding and knowing what you love. And I think that's important, is that I think you both know what your love and your passion is. And I think that's wonderful.
I think it's hard to quantify and talk about in words what my parents have done for me.
Oh, yeah. And as far as, like movies go and introducing it to us, there's so much good and bad. Watching Jurassic Park at 2 probably wasn't good. But, and Epic Movie certainly wasn't either.
No,
but,
no. Epic Movie should never be watched, period. That's a different story, though.
Yeah, no, doesn't even belong in the show. But there really is so much that, parents raise you, but they also introduce you to, obviously, all great movies like this.
Yeah.
And they helped us find,
How many of these right here on this desk did you watch for the first time with a parent?
One.
Great TV.
At least
Counting.
at least three or four. Dad, who actually is in the audience with us tonight, which is awesome that he came here, showed me probably about half of these, and I really got to credit him for all the good movies that he's ever shown me, really.
Yeah. My mom and I have a very special relationship with indie movies specifically. That's like my dad and I watch these big, broad, R-rated. Like I'll take my dad to go see Ted. My dad will love Ted, but me and my mom will go see like the Francis Ha, and we'll go see Boyhood, and we'll discuss it afterward. And my dad will see it and be like, it's okay, it's all right.
Right. Well, do you remember what your first rated R movie was? While we're on the topic.
Are we talking in theaters or in general?
General. Because I was introduced to Gladiator and then The Matrix, and I'm like, so all rated R movies are just amazing. That's how it works.
In
They're all the
theaters,
best.
a very Harold and Kumar Christmas 3D, which my mother bought me a ticket for. Go get her, MPAA. But yeah, Mom and Dad, I love you. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, really. Did a great job on raising us and really raising us with movies, for being honest.
Good job with me. We'll talk about him later. Mom and Dad did a good job taking care of us, that's for sure. And they most likely had to endure the same movies on repeat over and over again in their house.
So many Beauty and the Beast and Barney's, but one thing we know is that it's really hard to narrow down which films really meant the most to us growing up on this edition of There Can Only Be One. We will choose one out of the lot of childhood movies that we loved and probably gush about them a little bit.
Okay, so this one's a hard one because there's the obvious answers like the entire Disney pantheon like Lion King and Aladdin and The Jungle Book, and then there's the more specific random ones. For me, one of those specific random ones was the bizarre Looney Tunes basketball comedy Space Jam. Is Space Jam a good movie? Absolutely not. But it has a lot of bright colors, some good old-fashioned sports action, Bill Murray, and most importantly, the Looney Tunes, some of the most iconic and funny animated characters of all time. There's just something about that movie that puts a smile on my face every time that I watch it, and it's almost just certainly blind nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, Space Jam is, I don't know about a great movie like you said, but who doesn't love Bill Murray? Everybody knows Bill Murray.
I know.
Not enough can be said about Bill Murray.
Not enough can be said. It's no Kangaroo Jack. I'm sorry.
Well,
but
Kangaroo Jack, you know what? Let's talk about Kangaroo Jack. As is the case for many things, this is a tough category to
dare.
narrow down. I loved so many and often bad movies as a kid, but it's hard to decide just one to pick. I love Disney's Dinosaur. I love The Land Before Time. I love dinosaurs as a kid, but I also used to love Kangaroo Jack. And as some baby pictures may foreshadow, one of my favorite childhood movies seems to lead me back to Tarzan. No, not you 2016 version. You were an outrage. But, a lot of it probably comes from Phil Collins' music being the perfect fit. And I also loved animals. I had a soft spot for them. So watching this deep and fitting in and coming of age tale about a boy learning to live in the jungle amongst gorillas always ends up being something I found really interesting and even more entertaining at the same time. I wouldn't even really say there's anything so brilliant about it. It's just such a fun ride and such a good story from start to finish. And all these years later, it still resonates with me really well. It's probably not even my favorite Disney movie, to be honest. It's just such a soft spot for me after all these years. It just had to get a proper offer.
The interesting thing about that movie specifically is, again, that's a very close one I have with my mom. The "You Will Be in My Heart."
Oh yeah,
like
great
that's
soundtrack.
that's a thing that the Phil Collins soundtrack is wonderful.
Amazing.
I know you love Son of Man. I loved Trashing the Camp as a kid. That was my
great
favorite.
one.
Rosie O'Donnell could do no wrong in my mind.
Imagine.
Nowadays, I don't know about that, but but yeah, Tarzan. It's not one of my favorites, but it is one that got
Yeah,
watched.
I know. I'm a little annoyed when I found out where it ranks on your Disney list, but that's okay.
But it also was the first movie besides Barney's Great Adventure that I saw in theaters, that I can remember seeing in theaters. at
Right.
least.
I don't know if I saw that one in theaters particularly, but I know that, and I found out Beauty and the Beast and Lion King were all movies I just watched on repeat.
Yeah.
So I got to apologize because I'm sure they know every word to all of those animated movies.
Yeah.
My parents.
It's nothing to apologize about. That's great. That's a great thing.
And I'm sure I'll be there eventually.
Yeah. Anyway, well, those are some of our favorite films from our childhood, but how many of those take place on our favorite films ever?
It's even harder. It's a question
Ever.
Andrew and I get a lot, and it's one worth exploring here on these final goodbyes.
Without further ado, here's Bang Bang, our favorite films of all time.
So, just a little fun fact. According to the Motion Picture Association of America, they estimate that there are roughly 600 movies created in the United States every year. So for a kid who can barely decide between cake and ice cream and cookies and brownies,
Just pick one.
narrowing down a list to my favorite movies is near impossible. So disclaimer for me personally, this is a bit of an incomplete list. However, I am someone who also firmly believes you don't always understand or appreciate every movie upon first watch. There are plenty of examples where it took me 2 and even 3 times to fully appreciate a film. If this were a top 6 list, Martin Scorsese's The Departed would be on here, but unfortunately, this is just a top 5. So, with that, kicking off my tentative top 5 films of all time list is almost unarguably the greatest war movie of all time, Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan. Most remembered for its brutally realistic depiction of the Normandy landing, this war epic also shows the horrific effects war can have. It gives off a sense of humanity, a sense of being and purpose, and brings the theme "No Man Left Behind" to the forefront. Movies don't often make me emotional, so I have to give credit where it's due here, as this war masterpiece makes me, and I'm sure the audience, feel every death and life-questioning moment deep in your core.
It's typical to refer to a great, darker, and more mature sequel as The Empire Strikes Back of the franchise. There's a very good reason for that. All these movies on this list need little introduction. They're going to be cliched and boring, blah, blah, blah. Maybe none more than The Empire Strikes Back. For my money, the best Star Wars movie, and maybe the movie with the most iconic collection of set pieces, characters, story beats, and lines of dialogue of all time. It takes everything great about that original film and makes it better. This is where the film where Han Solo, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca, Yoda, Darth Vader, and the rest of the characters became immortalized as not just pop culture titans, but some of the most recognizable multi-dimensional personalities in film. The action is killer, the themes tremendously explored, and wow, what a twist and cliffhanger. I won't spoil it here if you haven't seen it. Empire is where everything goes bad for our heroes, and yet it's so
Who
good.
hasn't seen it?
A couple people I can see right here.
Shots fired. So naturally, the best of list will contain many of the genre masterpieces. I already covered war, but standing at number 4 is Christopher Nolan's superhero masterpiece, The Dark Knight. You know how people are starting to talk about what or who the Beatles of our generation are? That's going to happen / is happening to The Dark Knight. This is one of those films that is nearly a decade old and has more than stood the test of time. This is one of those films whose brilliance is still discussed and dissected to this day. The grounded approach to Batman stunned audiences, and Heath Ledger's turn as the Joker won a posthumous Oscar and what is considered to be one of the greatest performances of all time. Not only that, Christopher Nolan's writing and direction is razor sharp on all fronts, diving deep into the characters, what makes them tick, why they're the perfect match for each other, and executing it in fantastic fashion. Nolan may not be great with the action scenes per se, but his clever mind creates scenarios to keep the audiences on the edge of their seat. So, I'm sorry, DC, but it looks like you peaked a little early.
More on that in a bit. Anyone who has been watching the middle seats for a long time knows that a great animated film has a dear place in my heart, especially when the filmmakers showcase a tremendous mixture of creativity and maturity for all ages. No film for me executes that balance better than The Incredibles, Pixar and director Brad Bird's flawless superhero family flick. This is a movie that splits its time perfectly developing its story, characters, humor, and action. It tells an ingeniously smart story about societal prejudices, the importance of family, overcoming midlife and teenage crises, and the crushing blow of being rejected by your hero. It does pretty much everything well when it wants to. A confidence and boldness that we need more of in this genre especially. The Incredibles is fast on its feet, beautifully animated, surprisingly dark at points, but also gut-bustingly hilarious at others, such as in this moment here.
My super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
Put it away.
Where?
Why do you need to know?
I need it.
Don't you think about running off to doing no daring do? We've been planning this dinner for 2 months.
The public is in danger.
My evening's in danger.
You tell me what my suit is, woman. We are talking about the greater good.
Greater good? I am your wife. I'm the greatest good you were ever gonna get.
Andrew trying to break me on camera. But next up for me is arguably the greatest end to a trilogy of all time. Though some may say it has too many ends, it is done in much grand style and has about as epic of a feel as any fantasy movie can have. It went 11 for 11 at the Academy Awards, including Best Picture. It's Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. I'm not really sure you can have a conversation about epic filmmaking without discussing this trilogy. From a written standpoint, the story puts such work into its slew of main characters and allows you to truly feel for each and every one of them on their long and daunting quest. From a directorial standpoint, where do you even begin? From its incredibly well choreographed battle sequences to the effects, the adventure they take, the perfect score, it truly is just one of the best told stories ever put to film, and it doesn't get a much better ending than this. We'll talk more about this later, I promise.
I told you it's boring. I'm gonna give you a movie you can't refuse. Again, what else has to be said about The Godfather? It's the king of all dramatic gangster epics. The acting, direction, story, music, almost every scene features something that has been aped in other corners of media. What really strikes me the most about the film is how quickly the viewing experience goes by for me every time I watch it. I've seen the film probably 5 or 6 times. It's over 3 hours long, but the pacing and enjoyability makes 3 hours feel like an hour and a half. There's nothing bad to say about The Godfather. It's an epic, brilliant film that knows it's epic and brilliant and wears it on its sleeve.
So this list was a little tricky, and there were a lot of moving parts and potential hits I could have added and switched around, but this is where my list gets easy. My second favorite movie of all time is undeniably Fight Club. First off, it is one of the greatest twists of all time. But even if you take that out of the equation, it is one of the greatest characters of all time in Tyler Durden. On top of that, it has a message that nonconformists like myself eat up. Combine all of that with David Fincher's vision for this story, and you have a well-written movie with great scenes, great dialogue, great acting, with a message to society and a twist that leaves your head in shambles. Anytime a standalone film can produce memorabilia for over a decade like this, you've got something really special on your hands. I guess Tyler Durden was right. This is the end, at least for middle seats, and I am thanking him.
I'm sorry, you're a nonconformist. Just because you have a beard, you're not an anarchist. Superhero films before 2008 were good, but there seems to be a limit of what exactly they could be. At the time, I'd argue Spider-Man 2 was the best one, but it still had its share of corny moments and specifically comic booky moments that failed to transcend the genre. Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight changed that game forever. This film is not just a brilliant superhero film, it's a brilliant crime drama, character study, and action film that just happens to feature Batman in it. Over the course of 2.5 hours, Nolan takes us through a medley of character arc and holy crap moments that have yet to be replicated. And of course, words can't describe how good Heath Ledger is in this film. He's the perfect mixture of chaos and anarchy that fits in with the themes of what Nolan is trying to do. The Dark Knight is a masterpiece of the genre and of film in general. Don't be so serious. Go watch it.
So if you know me, you probably already know what's coming. Pulp Fiction, probably the coolest movie ever made. And though Andrew and I try our best to sound professional and sophisticated and not use words like cool, it just fits so well. So rarely is there a film with such style that fans are able to get giddy with excitement just from watching characters have casual conversations in a car. For those who have not seen it, part of the sheer greatness that comes from this Tarantino masterpiece is within the amazing dialogue the characters share. Truly one of the most watchable, quotable, memorable, and original films in history. Please never throw this movie on during something important, because you will quickly learn where and how many things I can put on hold for a few hours when it comes to this iconic cinema masterpiece.
What does Marcellus Wallace look like?
What?
What country you from?
What?
What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
What?
English, motherfucker! Do you speak it?
Yes.
Then you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like.
What?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
He's black.
Go on.
He's bald.
Does he look like a bitch?
What?
Does he look like a bitch?
No!
Then why you try to fuck him like a bitch, Brett?
He didn't.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Brett. You tried to fuck him. And Marcellus Wallace don't like to be fucked by anybody except Mrs. Wallace. You read the Bible, Brett?
Yes.
Well, there's this passage I got memorized. Sort of fits this occasion. Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Jake's wallet, for the record, right here. It says bad MFer.
Right.
Okay, my mother's here, I can't say it, but
Right.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick a best film. However, it's not hard to pick a favorite film. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, for me, is the film that is the most perfect from minute one to the last one. For me, it does nothing wrong. Every beat that it wants to hit, it hits, and does so with a wealth of emotion. Some people like to consider these films one big, extended 9-hour feature. That's fine. I buy that. For my money, they're all complete adventures on their own, with arcs for every character within them, a gas to the big narrative arc. Return of the King is my favorite because it has what I consider to be 5 or 10 of the most iconic moments in movie history. Moments that still give me chills and make me emotional. This is one of them.
Whatever happens, stay with me. I'll look after you.
Right now! Right now! Right! Right for ruin and the world ending! Death! 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 Death
God.
Yeah,
It chills
how epic.
every time.
Epic.
Just the context of that scene, like
Yeah.
everything looks lost for humanity, and then
then-
they just roll in there, and the music swells, and Peter Jackson really understands how epic that story was supposed to
He really
be.
did. The Hobbit's so unfortunate, but
Let's not dwell on the negative here.
but my God, is the Lord of the Rings just like, I mean, the only argument for the best trilogy of all time is the original Star Wars movies. I think.
Toy Story. You've just been watching them.
No, I
recently.
know, and I just watched them, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy I think is better than the Toy Story trilogy.
I would say that.
And
Toy Story is better than Star Wars. Return of the Jedi goes like this a little bit from. Anyway, not important. That's not what we're talking about. To address Pulp Fiction, if we did a top 10, Pulp Fiction would be there. That's another movie that I just absolutely adore. One of the most quotable.
It's
again iconic.
Yeah.
It created a whole style of film.
Yeah, and I know, you know, we have a teacher who hates everything Tarantino does, but like there's just so, like every scene in it I'm excited for. There's not a single scene in the movie where I go, eh.
Yeah.
Not one.
And the way that the structure of it, it's so good.
Everything.
Dark Knight, one of the greatest, one of the greatest genre
Really,
films ever made.
Yeah, really set the bar so high. I almost feel bad for Zack Snyder. Not really. No, I don't.
No, I don't. He does it to himself. He can still make a good movie and not make The Dark Knight.
Right.
There is an in-between between a 3.5 out of 10 and a 10.
Yeah, and Christopher Nolan really just, I mean, I don't think anybody could have possibly predicted how good a Batman movie like that could have been.
No.
It's unbelievable.
You've seen The Godfather, right?
Once. Only once. That was one of the reasons why I didn't throw it on, because as great as it is, I've only seen it the one time, and I don't feel like I can throw it on.
And we've
there.
had the Fight Club discussion on the show before.
Yeah, he thinks it's good, not great. I think it's...
I think it's very good, not great. That's
Okay,
different than just good, not
Excuse
great.
me. I love everything Fight Club does and tries to do. Tries to do and succeeds. In my opinion. It's great.
I think it's a little over
Like
the top
there's-
at points.
like
And you know, I love Fincher. He's my favorite director.
Yeah, Fincher's great.
But I don't know. If there was a number 6 spot on this list, by the way, just a couple other ones rattling off my head that I love. I love Saving Private Ryan. That's another good one.
Amazing.
Social Network.
Another one I got to see again.
Who doesn't like Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah, if you raise your hand, leave, because I don't know what you're doing here. You're an idiot.
There's no, okay.
Well, I think that's one of those things where, like, I know it's an opinion, but it's really fact.
Yeah. Toy Story, Lego Movie, Inside Out, Avengers, First
honestly,
Avengers.
Mad Max is rising up the ranks.
Mad
for me.
Max, Fury
Mad
Road.
Max is unbelievable.
Beast of the Southern Wilds, another one.
I've seen that.
See all those movies. Memento, it's another
Memento's
good one.
a great one.
We got to move on.
Yeah, we could do this forever.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about, focus less on us and more on the show itself. What were some of the best moments?
We'll find out. Stick it right here. You're watching the final episode of The Middle Seats.
Yo, Drew, I got your text. What's up?
I don't know. Jake's been quoting lines from Pulp Fiction all day.
Yo, Jake, what's up?
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
What are you even saying?
Say what again?
Who say what?
Does he look like a bitch?
We are literally the only 2 people in this room right now.
That is a tasty burger.
Do we call a doctor or something?
I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger.
Now that's a threat.
The Middle Seats, every other Thursday, only on MCTV.
Welcome back to the series finale of The Middle Seats. Jake and I are talking about some of our favorites, so now it's time to turn the page and focus on the things that bring us all here today, the show.
Our show. Here, we'll be talking about our favorite Middle Seats moments.
And it's hard to know where we start, but I think...
It really is.
I think if we were to poll people, the general consensus is that the What You Say cold open is the favorite.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, brilliantly directed by the one who's directing our show tonight, Peter Malavenda.
But it really was a team effort on that one.
Oh, absolutely.
Like-
absolutely. We had a bunch of people in on it, and it turned out great.
It just like we tried to do a shot-for-shot remake of something that SNL did.
Yeah.
And we actually replicated pretty well, except for the fact that there's clearly in the background us watching the video.
Yeah, there's a
his.
part where like Nate is watching the video as we're making the video.
It's really
great.
meta.
It's
You
very
should really
funny.
check it out. But as far as segments and
There's a
stuff goes, trivia ended up being kind of a failure. Every time we did it, because it would always like...
Yeah, Kevin Costner ruined the first one, and then Joey and Pove were like...
Yeah. And it was just all legs on the third. It was just all swinging.
Who thought Tom Hanks was Santa Claus? Wasn't that it?
Oh,
Do you remember?
Probably.
Someone thought Tom Hanks... Joey thought someone was Santa Claus, and Pope goes, no, there's Tom Hanks, and both of us were like,
duh.
No.
Oh, instead of Tim Allen.
Yeah, we're like,
right. Yeah.
No, that's
right.
wrong too.
We did a couple drafts. Christian.
Yep.
We lost both
Christian
of our
and
drafts.
Tree. Yeah, well, Tree read Star Wars, so that wasn't fair.
And Christian had
then-
Jurassic World.
Yeah, he pulled
and
Jurassic World out of his ass.
Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
But other cold opens that are great. Christian directed the Shining one, and I
Yep,
thought that was one of our
that
most
came out really
proficient
well.
and beautiful ones.
Yeah,
Like-
I know my dad likes the recent Jurassic Park one.
Yeah,
They
that one's
do
really
move in
good.
herds.
Yeah,
it was a good one.
The Scooby-Doo one, I'm a big fan of as well.
Yeah, because Kevin is a phenomenal actor. Lo and behold,
Oh my God.
phenomenal actor.
The SAG. If you're listening to Screen Actors Guild, never hire Kevin Kleinschmidt to be one of your actors. Oh my
You
God.
throw a mask on him and he still goes.
Things that take,
"Urgh."
yeah, you're like things that take people one take him 6. Take him 6. Kevin, look intimidating, and he's standing there like, I don't know, Brock Lesnar. He's
He just goes, okay. I'm like, did I do it?
Posture.
Did I do it right? And even some mishaps, like Doctor Strange you're talking about before the show.
Yeah.
When, something happened where half our show just got lost. So we were like, it's the magic of Doctor Strange, and we're going to make believe that happened.
Well, one of my biggest regrets that we didn't get a chance to do. We did the lip sync battle,
And it didn't
and
quite
it's on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure the audio is muted on it.
Oh, good.
So, thanks, Disney.
That's what you need for a lip
Thanks.
sync battle.
Yeah, Disney. We're trying to give them free publicity because Disney needs free publicity.
Yeah, they make billions of dollars on every movie they
Yeah.
make.
I don't know, some of the early cold opens, just us finding our rhythm really have a special place in my heart.
And people love our first
Peter, when the two of us and Peter and Christian went to the library and shot that one, that was a lot of fun.
That was funny.
The pumpkin one
patch, I was just
has
gonna
a
say,
couple
too.
gorgeous shots in it and some of the best outtakes we've ever had.
Yeah. Peter's like, as a matter of fact, I do.
Yeah.
And Peter, what are you
Okay,
saying?
Screen Actors Guild, you still listening? Come back.
Yeah, no.
Do never hire Peter Malavenda either.
Host?
Never.
Host, Peter's great. Actor, I'm not really sure what's going on.
And it's weird having him back in my ear now, trying to mute
awesome.
my mic, but
Awesome. People love our first episode because it's so different.
it's horrible.
It's a little rough.
Oh my God, those had taped black and white pictures
there
of our
wasn't even
favorite
here. There was nothing there.
No, there was no such thing as a chroma.
We had a PowerPoint.
They invited
Becca on the PowerPoint, peeking her head out.
Oh my God.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
that was
that's
amazing.
that's a favorite of
Yeah,
Christine
that's a
Duckberry.
favorite of some
That-
people's. She poked her head out like to see if like the show was still going on
Yeah.
or something.
I love when we
good
roast our crew, and mostly
Oh, yeah.
Meaningless always made
We throw
me-
shade at our
made
crew,
me
like
laugh.
people who don't know who Bill Murray
Abby
is.
Pront,
Always a good
one of our great historians, Will Duggan, our great historian.
Yep.
They take some.
Will Duggan.
They took some great behind-the-scenes pictures that just made all of us look terrible.
Yep.
And you know
Oh,
what?
yeah.
You got to laugh at yourself a little bit in this business.
Absolutely.
And we talked about some. I don't know if this episode will ever resurface because recording problems, but some of the favorite movies we've ever reviewed: Whiplash, Gone Girl.
Yeah. Both phenomenal.
We had
movies.
50 Shades. Oh, the 50 Shades segment.
How we forget that?
One of our favorites.
The third segment of 50 Shades was a little
Again, people
mortifying when
jump
my
out of their
parents asked
comfort.
about it, but
Some people jumped out of their comfort zone for a little bit and
Yep.
were clearly visibly uncomfortable
Yep.
doing it. Some were too comfortable.
some of my
doing it.
housemates at the time were very
Very too
comfortable.
comfortable.
They were fine.
Some of
had
my
no
housemates
issues.
at the time.
Yeah.
One of them read it like it was a racetrack race.
One read it as Jack Nicholson or tried.
Tried. Anyway, you have any others
A lot
off the
of
top
great
of your?
moments. I think some bloopers are great too. Like we were just talking about one episode where there's 3 cameras in the studio for those who have never been in here. The middle one just shut off, so we didn't know how to read the teleprompter. That was fun. Stuff like that.
My mic shuts off in the middle of one episode.
Yeah.
And
they cut to me and they were like, just take over. I'm like, okay, so what I think is, and as they were fixing Andrew's mic, just a lot of great stuff you never would have known.
And that's
we're revealing
credit
now.
to all of our crew.
Yeah, great job on all
We
our
cover
crew.
up the mistakes.
Yeah, that we inherently make.
Beautifully. Always.
Yeah.
And speaking of our crew, I think our Kevin Kleinschmidt has something that he wants us to see, apparently. So
Yeah, whatever, Kevin.
Let's take a look at that.
We're rolling.
We are rolling. What's our first question, Kevin?
All right, so what are you going to miss most about the class of 2017?
I guess becoming assistant news director, I really got a hands-on feel for everything. I hadn't been very involved with pre-production before that, so I will thank Andrew for suggesting me to Dylan and Erin. they're all so funny and they're so entertaining. Every time I see them on campus or at the club meetings, they can always make me laugh.
I feel like I'm definitely gonna miss the friendships I made. Jake and Andrew, I've been pretty close with. I feel like I didn't know everybody that long. Danny was the first person I met. She got me into the club, so I'll always be thankful for that.
I'm gonna miss their sort of just determination, their hard work, and their just passion for everything about MCTV. I'm definitely not gonna miss Jake because he's sort of a jerk.
I'm gonna miss the friendships for sure. I came in my freshman year. I didn't really have a lot of good friends the first couple weeks. I had tough time adjusting, but luckily, people like Andrew and Danny took me under their wings, and I was able to have some really great friends. They're gonna be lifelong friends that I know I can always count on them for anything, and I will forever be grateful for them.
Danny, we're thumb twins.
I am kind of speechless almost to how welcoming you guys were to MCTV and just new people, especially me. You get my name right all the time. Most of my friends call me John. I mostly prefer Monzo, and you guys get it right. 2 thumbs up for that.
No, but actually, seriously, I love Jake. Jake is just so inspiring. He's so dedicated to all the episodes that he does with Middle Seats, and he tries to help out everyone in MCTV.
We're just so caring for each other, and we're like family now. So I'm gonna miss them a lot.
And I will miss cab runs and Jasmine runs, generally getting food with them, but also studio time or
pre-studio time.
Pre-studio time.
Pre-studio time.
Pre-studio and post-studio time, because that's when you can, you have fun in the studio, but extra fun.
Extra. Read all about it.
Now, they're just so great. They're really funny and they're really inclusive and nice, and I just wish I had more time to hang out with them and be on shows with them. But yeah, they're cool.
Just fun stuff we did, doing Middle Seats, Around the Rotunda, Outside the Box, Later Tonight Show. Just hanging out with them, getting stuff done Danny's cooking show, working on all the cold opens that we did for Middle Seats.
From the experience I've had, everyone is very, very welcoming and nice. I've never really felt shut out from anything.
What else?
You have anything, Molly?
I can't think of anything.
Molly's not gonna miss the class of 2017.
You have any good stories about you and Jake?
Yes, many. I have many good stories. I think the one that I think I remember especially is just Jake always just calling me Dudgeon all the time, and he gets mad at me when I decide to run later at night, because that's just my thing, and I like doing that sometimes.
Favorite memory, Danny Horbiak. She's so great. This one time, last semester, we went to Panera Bread and we just hung out for a really long time, but then there was a Cold Stone next door and she wasn't sure if she wanted to go in, and I was like, let's go in. And then we go in, she takes a Snapchat, she was like, this little bitch made me do it. I'm like, thanks Danny, I appreciate the love.
Came to Andrew with the cold open idea. I was like, hey, why don't we make a Barack Obama rap video where he sings Fetty Wap? And Andrew and I worked on this for 6 or 7 straight hours one day, and it was so hard to find clips of Obama saying what we needed him to say, and we eventually had to just give up on it, and then we made the cold open about not being able to do the video because it was too much.
It's not even, no, it is MCTV related. My favorite MCTV related story is definitely when Andrew had a diva moment and texted me while I was still in the room and told me I needed to get him a brisk iced tea at that moment, right before Middle Seats, or he could not run the show. The show would not have gone on without that brisk iced tea.
My favorite memory has definitely got to be Ron Burgundy and the Dude debate. It was Jake, Nate, and Andrew. I was in the middle camera and I was trying so hard not to laugh.
Thank you, class of 2017.
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 Thanks, class of 2017. Gonna miss you guys.
Thanks, class of 2017.
Thank you. Good luck with everything in the future.
Thanks, class of 2017. Catch you later.
Thank you, class of 2017. I'll miss you guys. Thank you, class of 2017. 20, what were you gonna, 2017?
Molly's a liar. I did not do that. I'm not even gonna.
No, thank you guys, really.
We are the luckiest people in the world.
Yeah,
we are.
We don't. I mean, I know like we have a big studio audience here tonight, which is great, and you know, there is no middle seats without all you guys thanking us. There is no crew. You know, there's so much to thank you guys for.
They're not just crew. They're friends.
I know.
They'll be
like
friends.
Show crew, but
I'm not saying that you're. They're
There's
just
so
like
much.
the people that we've been lucky enough to encounter over 4 years. It's unbelievable how warm and welcoming. Something that I love about Marist is that one of my professors said this my freshman year. They were like, people here at Marist, they'll wait and open the door for you. They'll hold the door for you. And these people would wait 5 miles to open the door for me. Like, the support system is just unbelievable.
You know, it's funny you said that because I've heard multiple teachers say the same thing. Like, it's remarkable how many people just a simple thing like hold the door open. You know, and it's a general community at Marist, but you know, you really do make such good friends and things like this.
We've been so blessed. We really have. Like, I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah.
I can't. I wrote my words down to make sure that I get them out.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I have to follow that wonderful video that you guys all made. So I want to say thank you first, but here it goes. Here's the thing. There's a lot of self-pressure writing a final send-off piece like this. My last ever show for MCTV after 3.5 years. And I'm fresh off my last ever Marist College class where the teacher decided to show Toy Story 3, which just so happens to be one of the only films that can actually get me emotional. So thank you, Professor Amenick. But here it goes. We have all heard our peers and elders, no matter who they are, how crazy, tell us to enjoy the moment, that time flies. And you're going to look back on such memories like these. It gets sentimental and nostalgic. I personally have found that it isn't always easy to think that way when those special moments are happening. But with no more than a week left at this wonderful school, I am here to tell not only the freshmen and sophomores, but the juniors to enjoy all the time you have here. And I know, literally everyone tells you this, I know. But seriously, do what you love, try new things, be spontaneous. You never know when an important memory will enter your life. A walk by the river, an episode of The Office with someone you're, getting to know, a party that you may or may not know people at, just trying new things that you never thought you'd be into, which is how I got into MCTV. Andrew and I were roommates freshman year, Marion 220, and if it wasn't for him, I never would have found my love for this club and the people in it. I'll never forget when he told me that he was movie buff, and I thought some asshole thought along the lines of, yeah, we'll see. And then I had a conversation with him, and well, I'm sure you can imagine what happened after that and really how small I felt. But Andrew was gone from a kid who bought everyone in the dorm a birthday present to one of the most successful MCTV presidents people can remember. And don't worry, Kevin, I'm sure you'll do just fine. But I learned plenty from MCTV because God knows I never thought I'd actually be on camera. I tried new things, I met people I never would have if not for MCTV, and friends I know I'll always be close with. So through the highs and the lows of both MCTV and my track career here, it's surreal to think they're both ending within 24 hours of each other. But as many lasts as there are, it never has to be finished. I had my last track practice yesterday, my last class today, my last show right now, and my last race tomorrow evening. But that doesn't mean I have to be finished running, and that clearly and certainly does not mean Andrew and I will be finished reviewing movies. There is more to come. But there are plenty of people I need to thank, and I'd like to start with Zach, Ben, and John, who I know Andrew and I see ourselves in. They have started an already immensely successful new entertainment show, and if this were a race, they certainly got out well. I look to them, and I hope they cherish every moment, every show, and never stop coming up with ideas. And there are plenty of people you can seek for help with that. And for the man who got the middle seats off the ground and made the trek here out of the real world to direct, Peter Malavenda. Peter, we've told you thank you a million times, but again, thank you for the middle seats, making it a functioning show and really teaching MCTV your ways. The underclassmen know that when they are compared to you, it is the dearest of compliments. Amanda, the personality of MCTV to say the least, the only one who can direct without a headset on. Nate the Great, the tech wizard, the most joyful of all people, can do Rubik's Cube in like 20 seconds or something like that. Kevin, as sassy as 14-year-old should be, we know will do great things like he already has been. Danny, a wonderful vice president, always taking the initiative in implementing your vision and the Nickelodeon wisdom onto all of us. Dylan, our movie banterer and obviously the news director, we know. Erin, though she doesn't remember having any classes with me, has against her will become more two middle seats without even working a position really. And the words for you don't really belong in an essay like this. For the rest of the crew that have been so loyal and made this show what it is, thank you. There is no middle seats without all of you, week in and week out. And I don't mean to ramble, but thank you. Thank you for everyone, for all your help and support. There are too many names. But thank you to the parents who came here to watch, for being our biggest fans. Thank you to all those before us for their, both the ones who came before us for their influence. And thank you to all after us for your help and for continuing the MCTV legacy. It's been a great few years. Thank you, guys.
That's my favorite thing you've ever written. That was wonderful.
I tried. I did it right after Toy Story 3. That's what happens.
Okay. For a while in my life, there was no such thing as a bad movie. Now, of course, that's changed, but my youthful innocence loved the experience so much growing up that no sign of discernible quality could replace the pure glee I got from staring at that giant screen and being told a story through sound and visuals. I wanted so bad to just be around movies coming up the point that I distinctly remember, like you heard earlier, asking my dad if I could be the guy giving out the posters at the local theater.
Amazing.
Of course, my aspirations have grown a bit, but film is my religion, the theater my church, and the magic of the movie-going experience my faith. Entertainment is the type of thing that time after time brings people together. No matter any sort of differences we have, there's just absolute beauty in putting people in a dark auditorium and having them laugh, scream, cry, and clap together. I've bonded and clashed with my closest friends over film, made new ones through common movie interests, and grown to adore people very dear to my heart by showing them some of my favorites for the first time and watch them light up like I did. For those reasons, cinema was special to me, and I got lucky. I met someone that felt the same way as I did. Higher powers that exist besides Spider-Man and Andy Serkis can be debated, but something is certain, that it was no coincidence that Jake Hensler and I were put both in the same room in August of 2013. He had this spark, we had this chemistry, this passion and talent that couldn't go unused. This is where MCTV comes in. What seems like just a club became a family, a lifestyle for us, thanks to the most welcoming mentors and enabling friends a person could ever ask for. Katie Johnson, Peter Romano, Brittany Jelinski, Marissa Ayuto, and especially Peter Malavenda pushed us to fulfill a dream. And in April of 2014, Jake and I took this in front of the cameras. Now, it could have easily have failed, and let's be honest, we both sucked hard eggs at the beginning. This is where the support system comes in. People graduate, members come and go, but one thing remains certain. This show was always going to succeed. And that's because we were surrounded by a group of people so talented, selfless, and absolutely incredible that they pushed us to broaden our horizons. First, we were just bantering. Then we were playing games, adding graphics, video, going out into the studio for skits and man on the streets and drafts and even one lip sync battle that no one heard. None of that would have happened if Jake and I didn't feel empowered by a Kevin Kleinschmidt or an Amanda Sblendorio or a Christian Haupt, Josh Selkowitz, or a Nate Lungarini. Every single person who worked on the show became just as part of its personality and heart, and Jake and I started writing with all of you in mind. I truly do feel this amazing, powerful gratitude and love for each and every one of you. You'll never know how much this experience has meant to me, and I'm sure to Jake. So as the curtain prepares to close, I get one more chance to tell you and leave you with these 3 essential truths that I live by about film. First, cherish the bad films as much as the great ones. The celebration of A Dark Knight becomes greater when taking into account that it could have been Batman v Superman. Second, don't be afraid to jump outside of your comfort zone. Just because you have to read subtitles or understand a foreign language does not mean that the film loses its worth. If something seems weird, embrace its weirdness. That's what we do. These are where the gems of art come from. Finally, and most importantly, everyone's opinion matters. Friendly debate and slight rubbing is encouraged, but in the end, if someone wants to give The Social Network 2 out of 5 stars, that's okay. Remember, almost all film is meant to unify, even when it's dividing. How do I even begin to wrap this up? Once again, thank you all for this surreal, unparalleled roller coaster. It was worth every blood, sweat, and occasional boiling rage over a Jake rating to share just 1 or 2 moments with each and every one of you in the crew. And Jake, you know this, but you're a tremendous film fanatic and friend. It's been my complete honor to sit aside your unkempt beard and occasional technical guffaws. I've never met an individual like you, and I'm very, very proud to say that. I'm going to stop talking now. I'll let this video salute the best crew on college television.
Like new sunglasses, like a brand new pair of jeans. I feel like taking chances. I feel a lot like 17. I feel like windows roll down new city streets and cabs. I feel like anything can happen. Laughing, you take me right close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing like I can fly, and I don't even think of touching the ground, like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new. Like a young John Cusack, like making big mistakes. I feel like for the first time in a long time, I am not afraid. I feel like a kid. Never thought it'd feel like this. Like when I close my brand new. Time will always try to make us. Time will always try to make us. You remind me what I used to know. Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing, like I can fly and I don't even think of touching the ground, yeah. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new.
These people behind me are the best crew and the best people.
This is who we
and
talk about.
I know I miss people. Where's Scott? I know I missed you, wherever you are. I'm so sorry. I probably spelled people's names wrong. These people are my life. They've been my life. They've been Jake and I's rock through it all.
These are the people we talk about when we say thank you.
Oh, we can't say enough. We can't.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
That'll do it here for everyone here at Marist College this season of 2017 and us, the class of 2017. I am Jake Hensler.
I'm Andrew Roger. Remember to always keep that seat warm, everyone. We'll hopefully see you all at the movies.